If you feel lost right now and you're going through a big life transition, like you moved cities, even countries, you lost your job, you're going through a breakup, you enter the career of your dreams, you are entering marriage, you might also be doing a lot of inner work, a lot of healing, this video is for you. You might be feeling extremely disoriented right now, confused, lost, like the ground beneath you is shaking. And that's why today we're going to be discussing the 4 reasons why you feel lost and then the 3 ways to get out of that state, to get clarity and trust within yourself and your life. If you're new here, hi, my name is Chrisana. Here we speak all about inner work, inner healing, and self-development. Welcome. If you've been here before, hi, welcome back. And yeah, let's get into the video. I firstly want to acknowledge that this is one of the most disorienting phases of life to be. It's the moment where your old identity, your old life, they are not here anymore. They have dissolved. They are out of your life entirely. But the new identity and the new life, they are not formed yet. So it might feel like the ground beneath you is made out of glass. It's like when you go on those tall buildings and you can see through the glass and you're really high up and you feel like your legs are shaking, right? And so in this phase, you might feel like if you take a step forward, the glass might break. If you take a step back, the glass might break again. So it's this constant fear of not knowing what's going on. And at the same time, you have this confusion, this disorientation in terms of what you're supposed to do in this next phase of your life. This is so uncomfortable to be in because there is no sure path ahead. There is no stability in this phase. And as humans, we crave stability. We crave comfort. If you're watching this, even people like you who are into self-development, yes, we are biologically wired to search and desire comfort and familiarity. So that's why this is one of the most destabilizing phases to be in life. And at the same time, this is the moment in your life that you can create so many opportunities, because this is like being in this darkness, being in this sacred in between, as I call it again. From that, there is so much opportunity. It's like nature in the winter time. It seems like it's dead from the outside. The leaves have fallen, maybe there's snow, but underneath the surface, everything is still alive. Even new seeds might be regenerating under the surface. So there is so much opportunity in this phase, even if it doesn't seem like that from the surface. And so it's incredibly normal to be in this phase and feeling like we are lost, which brings me to my next point. Usually we have here what I call the trust deficit. And that is because, again, you might be feeling like you are in this fog, like the path ahead is not clear for you. So every step ahead feels scary, feels intimidating, feels like this is endless. This is gonna last for your whole life. But I am here to assure you it's not gonna last forever. It's just because this phase is meant to bring you back to your authentic, God-given purpose. You can call it universe, you can call it source. I like to use the word God. So you're being tested in a way. Your trust is being tested. And that's why most of us, we are in this trust deficit during this big life transition. Most people actually haven't built trust yet because of this fog and shaky foundation. They don't know what's next, and that's scary. That's human nature, right? The thing is, we as humans, we are wired to, again, to seek comfort, stability, and familiarity. And through that, we have a steady and clear path ahead of us. But the thing is, if the path ahead of you is clear, most often than not, that is not your path. That is just a path somebody else carved for you. And chances are God, universe, wants you to create your own path right now. And so your trust is being tested. It's incredibly normal to not have trust, during this phase. This is what I see all the time. This is what I've been through too. Maybe this is your initiation to have more trust in yourself and in God. This was certainly the case for me. Every time I went through a different life transition, my trust was being initiated. I was initiated into building different layers of my trust within myself, within life, within God. So if you don't have trust, you have this urgency inside of you, this urgency to control things, to control the outcomes, to control the expectations in your life. Maybe you are in a new career, so you want to control the outcome of that. Maybe you are in a really healthy relationship and you feel restless and like things are not going quite well, but it's just that your human nature wants to create control. It's also all about desperation. And so when you don't have trust, you're desperate to get to the new level. If you maybe broke up or you lost that job, maybe because of the trust deficit, you are desperate to get into the next relationship immediately. Maybe you're desperate to get a new job, even if those new situations, they don't meet your needs. You just want to do that because you don't have trust within yourself, within your path right now. And that can create more harm than good. Most of the time, that creates so much more feelings of being lost, stuck, disoriented. It reinforces all of those feelings of the sacred in between, or the shadow of the sacred in between, because there's so much goodness to it too. Because of this lack of trust, a lot of people also indulge in their unhealthy coping mechanisms, be it scrolling, numbing, drinking, partying, casual smacks. It can be so many things. But the point is, most people use that to create a sense of control and a sense of stability within this instability, within this uncomfortable phase of life, even though it is just a fake state of stability. It doesn't truly bring any real solutions. It doesn't bring you to new opportunities. It doesn't help people to create the next phase of their lives. I know we all know that. I just had to mention that because sometimes people are afraid to speak of those things. But if we don't name them, how are we supposed to get out of them? There's no other way. You have to acknowledge the truth, right? The irony here is the more you try to control things, the more, and this is the paradox of being in the sacred in between, the more you try to control things, the further away you get from trust. The more you try to be in this fake, stabilizing phase, the further away you're getting from your unique, God-given path. By the way, there is a solution to all of that. Just stay with me until the end of the video and I'm going to give you the 3 steps to get out of feeling lost. But next point, why you feel lost during this life transition. And this is so important. Most of the self-development content tells you to do that right now, when in reality is counterintuitive. They tell you to build the new identity. And so what that does is trying to build a new house without a foundation. Right now, what you need to be doing is releasing, processing actually all of those old wounds, all of those old expectations, all of those old roles, all of those old habits. Because if you don't, you cannot get to the new identity. So this is why it's counterintuitive. You cannot get the new identity if you don't make space for the new identity. I said that before, but I'm gonna keep saying that again and again. Like, you need to clear space. You need to clear those old wounds, those old identities, this old life of yours in order to create the new life. It's like your house is full of furniture and you're trying to bring new furniture. Are you gonna keep them all there, just stuck one on top of the other, or are you gonna get rid of the old? Doesn't make any sense, right? And the more you squeeze things, the more disorienting and confusing it becomes. And this is why you feel even more lost. You cannot create a new identity right now. Right now, your work is to do what I call the excavation phase. And this is what we do inside Metamorphosis, which is all about going through this sacred in between and those life transitions. You need to dig down to find your old wounds, your inner child, your shadows, and to process that, to bring that to the light and to heal those wounds in order for the new identity to resurface and emerge. The real work here is releasing the old. Think of it like a TV show. Let's say, for example, Bridgerton. From season 2 to season 3, you are not the same character anymore. So why do you keep dragging your old character to the new season? That doesn't make any sense. You evolved. And now you're this new identity. Don't drag the old character to the new season. It's gonna bring you even more pain. It's gonna keep you in this cycle of feeling stuck and lost. Don't do that. You know better than that. I know because you're watching this video. You are not the same character anymore, okay? Say that with me. You are not the same anymore. Done with the old. So cleanse first, make space, clear the space inside you and outside you, I would argue. And this is something that I got into the past 3 years, the outside space, like keeping old things. I was a bit sentimental in terms of a lot of things, and I still have a lot of work to do with that, but I would argue even external things. For example, the other day I found something from my ex. Like, I read that, I took the message that God wanted to give me because it was really random the way I found it. It was hidden in a book basically that I didn't even want to read, but something told me, my intuition, to check that book. I didn't even know why, but then I understood why. It's because God wanted me to see that letter from my ex and release that. And then I cut it in pieces and I bend that. Don't be sentimental with things you don't want to drag into the next chapter of your life. And I know you also have been keeping things from your exes. Let go of that. Let go. And you will make space for the new. It can be even that simple. Sometimes even those small micro actions, they bring so much clarity instead of feeling lost. So try that and let me know. This is how you're gonna rebuild the new identity. Step by step, micro steps. The next step is something we are all afraid of. And this is taking the aligned step, the aligned action. A lot of people, and I used to do that a lot when I was in my daydreaming self-activated archetype. If you've taken the quiz, you know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, this is basically the self-activated archetype that gets, you guessed it right, activated during every single life transition in your life. There are 4 of those, so I'm going to leave the link down below if you want to take the quiz and learn which one you are during the sacred in between. This will give you a lot of clarity, because once you know which one is taking the lead right now, you're gonna know that you're not it, and you know that you can lead it too instead of being led by it. But more on that later. I used to be my daydreaming queen, and what this archetype does is that it keeps you stuck through having the dream alive. But the dream alive is only in your mind. You keep daydreaming. That's why I used to do. I kept daydreaming and thinking about my visions, my dreams, my desires for my life. But at the same time, I wasn't taking any action because of fear. And the thing is, the reason we do that is because when we keep the dream alive through our minds, through our imagination, and not by taking any action in the physical realm, in this reality, is because there's no risk involved. If I don't take the action, I'm not gonna risk being rejected, disappointed, humiliated, and it goes on. So I know you have a dream and you're keeping it alive through this archetype. I know, because I've done that before. And to that, I want to say, what's the cost of that? I want you to really sit down with this question. What's the cost of not actually taking any action towards your dream life, towards the next phase of your life? Because chances are the cost is bigger than the possibility of rejection, humiliation, abandonment, and all of those wounds. It's costing you literally your dream self, your dream body, your dream relationship, feeling like you know yourself, you understand yourself, you have confidence, you have high self-esteem, you have clarity in your journey. It's not just about the external, right? Yeah, of course, it's important to have the relationship, to be in your purpose, to be in the career of your dreams. But also, what's the feeling behind that? What do you want to feel because of that? That's another really good question to sit on and contemplate, or just journal on it. It's gonna bring a lot of clarity. So yeah, try that too. Think of not taking action as water that doesn't move anymore. It stagnates. And we all know that stagnant water is toxic. All of the organisms inside of it are dead. There's nothing alive in it anymore. Maybe some bacteria that are harmful, but that's not the point. But we all know to stay away from those stagnant waters. The other thing that comes to my mind is emotions. Emotions are basically energy in motion, somebody said. This is true, right? If you don't move your body, if you don't take the action, if you don't take the next aligned step for your next phase of your life, for your new identity, you stagnate inside of you. Your emotions get stagnant. And that's why a lot of psychosomatic issues and a lot of chronic illnesses develop. I know, because I used to have migraines, even depression, and my first and last panic attack, which I have a whole story on it. So if you want to know more about that, I'm going to link the video down below. But I was sick because I couldn't process my emotions. I was numb. Not getting any action can make you numb. I was too long in this archetype of the daydreaming queen, and this is why I got depression. Of course, there was a lot of underlying trauma there underneath, but the point is I couldn't process that. So the emotions got stuck in my body, and that's why I got sick. Literally, not taking aligned action makes you sick. And I stand on that. It can also be like a huge monster that grows and grows and grows. This fear literally grows. It's like a constant big monster that follows you everywhere. And the thing is, the more this monster grows, the smaller the possibilities, the new life, the new career, all of those things that you are inherently worthy of, they become smaller in your mind. And that's not the truth. It's just what the perception of staying in the sacred in between, the shadow of the sacred in between, becomes. It kills this spark of possibility inside the light of the sacred in between. So don't allow this monster to grow bigger anymore. Make space to nourish and water this seed of possibility inside of yourself that you and I both know it's gonna grow into opportunity if you nourish it. Because the more you nourish it, the smaller this monster becomes, the smaller the fear becomes. And it gets to the point that this fear gets totally deactivated, because it is possible. It is possible. Don't let anybody to tell you that it's not. Don't share your dreams, your aspirations with people who are gonna bring you down. Protect your dreams, but also take action. Okay, so what are the ways to change that and to stop feeling lost during a big life transition once and for all? This is just 3 steps. It's really simple, and at the same time, it's not easy because it requires you to work on that. The first step is to clear those wounds. I think we already discussed that. Clear those wounds, the old identity, the old expectations, the old roles, and what's behind that. That's what I want to emphasize here. What's behind that? Usually it's old narratives and old beliefs that they are limiting to your new expansion, to your new identity, to your new life. So you might be feeling like, and that might be specifically subconsciously, because most of those beliefs, they are ingrained in our subconscious from our childhood, from our conditionings, and it's not clear to see them unless we take the time to process them. So you might be feeling unworthy of this new career, of this new opportunity, of the new partner, of marriage. You might be feeling not deserving, not good enough, or too much even. And so we want to clear those wounds. We want to make space for new empowering beliefs, like I am good enough for my new career, because you are. I truly believe we are all inherently worthy of whatever we desire in our lives. I truly believe that. And especially if all of those desires, visions, dreams of yours, the next phase of your life, they are coming from your heart. You have nothing to be afraid of. So release the old identity, leave that behind with the old season, with the old character. You are leveling up. You are entering the new season of your series. So clear that space so you can have space inside yourself for this new life, because this is the only way that your new identity is going to resurface. And this is the next point. Let the new identity emerge. Get to know her. So what I mean by that is, after you cleared this space, the new identity doesn't need much doing, because you cleared the old wounds. So you will find yourself naturally being drawn to better habits, to opportunities, to behaviors that they are so aligned to your true self in this phase of your life. They are so much more healthy for you. You might be feeling, drawn to something your inner child was drawn to. That's why here I would do a bit of inner child healing along with the first point, clearing the wound. So I would do different types of inner child healing, one to clear the wounds and the other one to connect you back to your worthiness. And so from that, there's all of those values and things you want to live by in this next phase of your life, and follow through with that. So next step is what I call the self-led action. Is about taking aligned action according to your new identity and to your new life. The trick here is to trust, to take micro actions, day by day actions, like one habit at a time, one tiny behavior at a time. This is the way to build trust within yourself, within life, within God, by taking that action. Because let's be real, you don't know what's going to happen unless you take that action. The more you take that self-led action, the less fears you have. All of those fears, this big fear monster gets deactivated. It doesn't run your life anymore. No. You start running your life from your self-led self. And this is the way you become the leader of your own life. You stop being led by all of those fears. You are being led by your true self. And you know how to lead all of those self-activated archetypes, because once you know them, again, you can lead them. And did you know that they have their own strengths and lights, which you can use to your advantage, especially during the sacred in between? Because they don't only have shadows and fears, they also have strengths. And once you know them, you can have more clarity and trust within yourself. I'm going to leave the link down below for the free quiz. Once you take it, feel free to come back and let me know what is your self-activated archetype and what is exactly the life transition you're going through right now. I would love to know. And if you want to know more about life transitions, the sacred in between, self-activated archetypes, all of the psychological codes of the sacred in between, I have a whole playlist. I'm going to leave it here so you can binge watch that at your own time. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.